Although married, Doctor and poet Yuri Zhivago falls in love with a political activist's wife and experiences hardships during the Bolshevik Revolution. In 1965's David Lean's epic romantic classic, Dr. Zhivago.
From the most widely acclaimed novel of our generation, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer presents David Lean's film of Boris Pasternak's Dr. Zhivago. A spectacle of armies changing history. The epic of a grand romantic age giving way to a new and violent order. The drama of young lovers.
When Dr. Zhivago came out in 1965, it got all the nominations that I think a movie can get. Maybe it might have missed a few categories. But that really speaks out to how great the movie is. It's very few flaws, if any, and in my opinion, it's almost one of the closest things to the perfect movie that you can get. Although it lost all of the major categories to The Sound of Music, it won all of the technical awards, or at least many of them. The casting is near perfect. You have Omar Sharif, who plays Dr. Zhivago, and the way that he's directed by David Lean is almost, I think, the best way that you could have gone about it. The story is not exactly told from Zhivago's point of view. However, he is the one who experiences everything. And although at the time Sharif was very nervous about the performance that he was giving because it's such a grand-scale movie, the movie is over 3 hours long with an intermission, it frightened Sharif because he didn't feel like he was giving it his all, but he was directed to react and to experience, because not everything is happening to him. Everything is what he sees. I think because of that, his performance becomes kind of underrated, and he didn't even get a nomination for the role, which I don't think awards are everything, but still, it's kind of nice to recognize great talent. Moving along, you go to Rod Steiger, who was the only American actor in the main cast, which is kind of interesting, and he didn't think that David Lean liked him because he took certain liberties in scenes to kind of get a surprise reaction out of his actors, particularly Julie Christie, whom his character had a relationship in the movie. Moving along, you go to Julie Christie, who was a relative newcomer. I don't know if this was her first film, but beautiful actress, beautiful performance. She really adds to, in my opinion, she is almost the one good thing to look forward to in such a struggling time period in Russian history. Not to say that Sharif's wife, his character's wife, Geraldine Chaplin, who is Charlie Chaplin's daughter, wasn't a dutiful and great character. It's kind of what makes the movie so great as a love story, is that, the two struggling, the love triangle that Zhivago finds himself in with his wife at home and his love interest during the revolution. They're two great, beautiful characters who, you almost don't know who you want Zhivago to end up with. And, of course, the cast is topped off with Alec Guinness, who doesn't play the biggest role in this, but he is the narrator of the story. And David Lean described him as his good luck charm. If you look at all of Lean's greatest movies, Bridge on the River Kwai and Lawrence of Arabia, you'll find that Alec Guinness plays great parts in both movies. In all three movies, Zhivago, Bridge on the River Kwai, and Lawrence of Arabia are great epic classics. Which brings us to our director, David Lean, who is really just responsible for everything. Of course, like what every great director is, he's the father of the project. And I'm going to go out and say it. David Lean, in my opinion, is the greatest visual director you'll ever see. Just the imagery that he captures and the stories that he tells just by turning the camera on is just, it's almost unbelievable. In particular, and this, I think, also attributes to what makes it such a great love story, as well as making it such a great epic story, is the fact that every love scene that you get in the movie is shot in an uncomfortable surrounding. It's almost like you wonder, how could a romantic moment come out of this dank surrounding? Yet, every time he films a battle scene, it almost looks beautiful. It's almost beautifully shot, which kind of makes you also uncomfortable without knowing why. And that's just an attribute to how great and how ahead of his time I think David Lean really was. And he's so consistently visual. And you know, if you look at his greatest movies such as Lawrence of Arabia and Bridge of Versailles, you'll see what I'm talking about with how he just captures grand scale visual scenery, and just he is the master of the epic movie. It's epic is a term that's thrown out a lot, especially in today's entertainment. But if you want to see epic, see a David Lean film, and Dr. Zhivago is a great example of what I'm talking about. The writing, I think, speaks for itself, more so just the story and the subject matter. The story was based on a book, and that book was banned almost all over Russia and in many countries in Europe because of its strong subject matter, particularly because the book was written around the time of the Bolshevik Revolution. And we won't get into history, but it was a very touchy time period in Russian history. One more thing I feel like I should have to talk about before I wrap up is the music score, which is one of my favorites. And just most of David Lean's scores, particularly what I'm thinking about is also Lawrence of Arabia, are just, they're so, I don't know, they're such a memorable part of the movie, not to mention the fact that they really honor the story that's being told, if you understand what I'm saying. Particularly Lara's theme in Dr. Zhivago really adds to the romance and the sort of forbidden romance, I guess you could say, of the movie. There's just so much to talk about with Dr. Zhivago. I feel it can go on for hours. So why don't you let me know what you thought of the movie? How did it stand up in terms of being a great love story, being a great epic? And did you notice all of the brilliance, I'll go ahead and say brilliance, of David Lean? And that's pretty much it.